We have massive updates regarding the political chess match being played out in Texas as Texas House Committee votes to push forward with a gerrymandered congressional map. Now we have California and New York saying, you want to do that? We'll do it. Then we've got someone on Fox News crying foul that California wants to do exactly what Texas is already doing. And then the Texas governor is threatening to remove these Democrats from office that are now fleeing the state as a way to not have to vote on the issue. Have a listen to this.
Not normal. This is not democracy.
This map was politically based, and that's totally legal, totally allowed, and totally fair.
State Republicans answering President Trump's call for rare mid-decade redistricting, redrawing the map to make congressional districts more red. This gerrymandered map is designed to create 5 more Republican seats in the House, which could expand the GOP's thin control of Congress.
You've got these Texas Republicans that are just rolling over and giving Trump what he wants because he's asked for it.
California Governor Gavin Newsom says he's considering asking for a special election this year to change his state's redistricting process.
And by the way, California will vote for that. They will say, you know what, fine. We wanted to be independent with this, but now no longer will that happen. My hope is that we can pass some sort of federal law, or if they can agree every state to pass a law that does independent districting. That way we don't have to play this game. It's going to end poorly. But I don't see that happening. So the Democrats, the Democratic reps in Texas have all fled Texas, basically to say we won't vote on this issue. And now the governor is threatening to remove them from office.
Governor Greg Abbott now threatening Texas Democrats. Last night, he issued a statement saying those lawmakers are abdicating their duties. He wrote in part, quote, every session, legislators on both sides of the aisle find themselves on the losing side of a legislative vote. And every session, most of those legislators find a way to disagree agreeably and behave like adults rather than going AWOL.
Governor Abbott sounds like everyone's dad. You better be here by dinner time or I'm not paying for your cell phone bill, mister. And you're like, oh, God, you got me by the balls. Either way, those are the threats. And isn't it rich after we have Speaker of the House, Magic Mike Johnson, sending the House of Representatives home for the rest of the summer, also that they don't vote on releasing the Epstein files. So you can't have it both ways. Is this the game people want to play? Here's State Rep Jean Wu, Democrat, explaining just the reason why they're fleeing Texas.
We did not make the decision to come here today. We did not make that decision lightly. But we come here today with absolute moral clarity that this is absolutely the right thing to do to protect the people of the state of Texas. Yeah. Governor Abbott has used this tragedy, taken these families who are grieving, taken these communities who are struggling to recover, and use them as hostages.
Wow.
In a political game. Their attempts to disenfranchise Texans is the tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map.
Now, Ted Cruz will claim, no, we're a Republican state and we need to speak for the people. That's like, well, then how come you have to gerrymander? If the people want change, you are watering down their ability to do so. Here's Illinois Governor Pritzker welcoming the dozens or so of the Texas Democrat lawmakers who have had to flee. And why is this a big deal? Well, I don't know if you guys understand this, but you only get paid like $7,500 a year, and they're going to be fined something like $500 a day for not being there. So this is going to cost these lawmakers a lot of money. And that's right. I said $7,500. That's not much money, but that's how much they make in these state, as state reps. So this isn't just them going on vacation. Although Governor Pritzker is of the Hyatt family that owns all of the Hyatt chains. So will they be staying in Hyatt Places or Hyatt Regencies? I'm really not sure. But if anyone has any knowledge in the upper echelons of the Hyatt world, I lost my globalist membership last year when my wife had the baby because we couldn't travel as much. So could somebody get me my globalist status back? I would really appreciate that. Let me know.
You are answering one of the most challenging calls of public service that has ever been asked of you. And you've had to leave behind your families, your full-time jobs, your communities, and you did it to protect the voting rights of the people that you represent and voters all across this nation.
There was a time when a Texas governor wouldn't be afraid to tell the president, any president, don't mess with Texas.
Right.
But Greg Abbott is too subservient and too weak to do that to Donald Trump.
So this is not a decision, again, that we take lightly. And all the things that we are doing right now, we're doing it because we feel that this is the only way we can protect Texans.
So there it is. That's the idea. Here's New York governor saying, you want to do that? We'll do it too. And here's the problem. What people need to realize is if blue states start redistricting the way that Texas is, this will be a massive loss for Republicans. If everyone plays this game, this unfair game, it is not good for them.
If Republicans are willing to rewrite these rules to give themselves an advantage, then they're leaving us no choice.
Whoa.
We must do the same. There's a phrase, you have to fight fire with fire. All's fair in love and war.
Whoa.
That's why I'm exploring with our leaders every option to redraw our state congressional lines as soon as possible. We're already working on a legislative process, reviewing our legal strategies, and we'll do everything in our power to stop this brazen assault.
Now, my thought is only redistrict, if you're at one of these Democrat states, only redistrict to the point that it equals Texas. Because it's an arms war, and I just don't want to see it go any further, to the point where people will no longer accept the results of elections because they'll claim it's unfair. It is unfair. Every state needs to have independent redistricting so that they don't play these games where these districts are all cut up. And as you're going to hear right now, how is a congressman supposed to do their job if their district is literally all over the map?
These districts, the way they're drawn, they're not even cohesive. How can you represent some of these communities? How can you represent parts of Dallas, Representative Turner, and Upshur County? You can't. Where's your district office even going to be? How are they going to come to you and say, I need help with this? Because that's all they really want. After the election is over, after all the negative ads and all the politics, they're going to call you. And they're going to have some very simple questions, which is, I need help. Can you help me?
And of course, a democracy is about, voting in people that then represent you. And it doesn't seem as though the people are being represented. Here is the response here from California redrawing the map. After everything we've heard today, imagine the gall to respond. Here's Steve Hilton going scorched earth against Gavin Newsom for quite literally playing the game that he did not start. This is a game that Texas started.
Everyone across the country needs to understand this. Gavin Newsom is planning to steal 5 Republican House seats next year by holding a special election this year to overturn the California Constitution and illegally grab power and make this state even more gerrymandered in Democrats' favor. Right now, Republicans have 40% of the vote in California, only 17% of the House seats.
And you could say the same thing about Texas, right? Yeah, Texas is a red state, but it's shifting towards purple or blue. I mean, there's a big problem with many of these states. If Texas moves blue, it's over. And it's growing, and Senator Cruz wants to say, Texas has always been a Republican state. Listen, things shift. People's ideology shift. All right, so here's a massive update. This is being shared by Real News No Bullshit, which is, I would think, a relatively right-leaning Instagram account. But the Trump administration has notified states and cities that they will be ineligible for federal disaster preparedness funding unless they certify that they do not boycott Israeli companies. So this is wild because, I believe that folks should be allowed to vote with their dollar. I believe that people should be allowed to protest peacefully. And what we've seen with some of the arrests and deportations that have gone on is that pro-Palestinian people, it's gotten me. Do you understand how many 1-star reviews I received calling me an anti-Semite because I thought it was unconstitutional to deport people without due process? Are you freaking kidding me right now? Do you guys understand how batshit crazy it is? I thought everyone wanted to support the Constitution and the processes that we have in place with the 14th and the 5th and the other amendments that really protect people in our country, not just citizens, but people, due process, and the right to protest peacefully. not violently, peacefully. And the fact that they're doing this is absolutely wild. Here, this was shared by the Tennessee Holler. Multiple sources are saying that Netanyahu's government reportedly plans to fully occupy Gaza, which again, no surprises here. Trump said he wanted to turn it into a resort town or whatever. As the possibility of expanding the Gaza war comes closer into focus, ministers in Netanyahu's government are warning that if we proceed with a plan to occupy Gaza, the IDF chief of staff will resign. So not everybody is for it. There's clearly massive protests happening that want the war to end and people to be fed. And of course, likewise, Hamas has released propaganda videos which show starved hostages, which is horrifying to the families. Of course, respectfully, these families for several years now have had to deal with the unknown circumstances and the brutal torturing by Hamas. It's a terrible, terrible situation, but collateral damage exists on both sides. And this idea, the aid organizations right now that are delivering food in Gaza, they're moving people further and further south. They're distributing the aid in a way to pull people away. And a lot of people have this sinister thought that Israel, it just wants to bulldoze. I mean, they have just absolutely destroyed Gaza. So if you look at Gaza by air, I mean, it is no longer a habitable place. It is a full-on destroyed war zone. Now, yeah, sure. Has every single building been destroyed? No. But the idea being that they're going to say, well, everything's destroyed, we're just going to bulldoze it all. And how many bodies and people that have died in collateral damage have not been counted? The official numbers in the 50,000 to 60,000, but there's plenty of people that believe that number is in the hundreds of thousands of innocent lives. Photo after photo. Israel warned that the countries that were dropping aid were not allowed to film aerial shots of Gaza. I mean, just interesting things. It's so sad out there. And my belief is, I hold strongly to this belief, and I'm not afraid to share it, is that we are complicit in a genocide that is happening. Our country is funding the complete ethnic cleansing of Gaza and of the Palestinians from Gaza. And when we see this play back years from now, folks will wonder why we didn't do or say anything. How many of our leaders will be complicit? How many will say, well, we tried to stop it, but it was too little too late. It's a wild story. I can't even talk about this on TikTok. My account got demonetized this month. My videos don't even just get demonetized. They get banned. They are banned if you even talk about this. It's a wild time. It's scary. It's sad. But luckily here, still, you can talk about it. You might get demonetized, but you can talk about it. So continue to share this content with your friends and family as we try to prevent more senseless lives from being destroyed. It's a wild time out there. And we're battling the sort of assault and the risk of democracy ending in our country when we can no longer expect that our votes will be counted, that our votes will matter due to gerrymandering, and that we'll even be allowed to do the things that we have the right to do, which is protest. And by the way, check this out. It's not just here. They had this protest in Australia in support of the pro-Palestinian march. 90,000 people in Australia supported, and they're trying to end this humanitarian crisis. And again, the crisis is a government that is blockading food from entering Gaza. Now, every time I mention this, you get DMs from people sharing anecdotal evidence of that not being true. But there are people, women, children, innocent lives being shot at, being starved to death, and all for what? It's heavy, it's wild, it's happening. We're covering it. We'll be back in the morning. We'll see you then. I'm Dave, and this is The Rush.